If you had unlimited access to money, what would be one of the first things you would purchase? Would it be a pair of $2 million sneakers, a parking spot in Manhattan, or a feather worth thousands? Today we have a look at some of the very pricey items you could buy if you were a multi-billionaire. 24. Birds of a feather. For $10,000, you could be the proud owner of a feather belonging to the now extinct Huia bird. These feathers used to once adorn the Maori chiefs, but that tradition has fallen away, just like the bird. It's near impossible to get your hands on one of these feathers. The most recent one was sold in 2010 and bought at auction by a family in Wellington. The bird hasn't been seen since 1907. 23. On the rocks. Pianos are already rather expensive items to buy, but imagine spending $3.2 million on one. Well, if you wanted to, you could. There's a piano made entirely from crystals, and there's only one in the entire world. This goldfinch beauty is a Steinway, adorned with 500,000 Swarovski crystals, lovingly applied by hand over 6 months by Lauren Baker. It is owned by a customer in the Middle East. 22. Checkmate. Charles Hollander knows his diamonds and has been in the industry for over 50 years. He makes toys for billionaires, and using diamonds and gold, he has turned your ordinary games into must-have luxury items for those with a little extra cash. For $600,000, you could own a beautiful chess set, of which only 7 were made. He also has a diamond and gold backgammon set if chess isn't your thing. 21. Park off. You know space is tight when people are willing to part with $1 million for a parking spot in Manhattan. The price is 6 times the cost of your average home in America. And this particular parking spot is situated in downtown Manhattan, and as you can imagine, is a highly coveted spot. 20. We've got you covered. Insurance companies. How much money do they actually make? This might make you realize just how much they're worth. The domain insurance.com was bought for $35.6 million, and the domain insure.com was bought for $16 million. Some more expensive sites include vacationrentals.com, which sold for $35 million in 2007, and privatejet.com sold for $30.1 million in 2012. 19. Masterstroke. One of the most expensive paintings to ever sell at auction is Pablo Picasso's La Femme d'Alger, which was in 2015. The record has since been broken, and Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi sold in November 2017 at Christie's for an eye-watering $450.3 million. Back to Picasso though. Art critics believe this piece to be one of Picasso's weaker pieces. 18. Snap Happy. Considered one of the most expensive photographs in the world, the Rhine 2 sold for $4.3 million. It was taken by German visual artist Andreas Gursky in 1999 and sold at auction in 2011. 17. Pretty in Pink. You'd be one lucky girl if you were on the receiving end of the perfect pink, a diamond that fetched $23 million at Christie's in Hong Kong in 2010. It's the most expensive jewel ever sold in Asia, and it's a 14.23 carat diamond. Reports state that there were 4 bidders all hoping to walk away with the perfect pink. 16. Tuck in. Just remember to remove the toothpick before you do. The La Burger Extravagant will set you back $295, and the price tag has nothing to do with the actual taste of the burger, although I'm sure it's still very good, but it has everything to do with a toothpick that holds it together. It's a solid gold diamond-encrusted toothpick, and you can get yours at Serendipity 3 in New York City. 15. Time to start saving. If you want to own a Chopard wristwatch, you'd better start saving now, as it will set you back $25 million. This collectible timepiece was created by Chopard watchmakers, and already their watches are sought after. But add 874 diamonds into the mix, and you've got yourself a piece worth millions. So no time wasters, please. 14. Ace up his sleeve. Here's another painting that fetched millions of dollars, $275 million to be exact. It's an oil painting done by French artist Paul Cézanne called The Card Players. It's one of 5 paintings in the series, and the people in the images are all people that the artist knew. 13. Flights of fancy. Money is no object to Prince Al-Walid bin Talal of Saudi Arabia, and he is the owner of one of the most expensive private jets in the world. If you had to buy a regular Airbus A380, you'd pay roughly $300 million, but that wasn't good enough for the prince, so he spent an additional $200 million in beefing it up to the point where it's been dubbed the Flying Palace. There are some reports stating that he has sold a plane, while other reports suggest that he'll be installing an elevator. Guess we'll have to wait and see. 12. Home run. Shoeless Joe Jackson, a name that many will remember forever. He was an American baseball player who once took off his shoes during a game as they were giving him blisters. He was accused of throwing the World Series in 1919 for a substantial amount of money. His nephew sold his Black Betsy bat on eBay and made an incredible $577,610 from the sale. It turned out to be one of the most expensive items ever sold on eBay. It was bought by businessman Rob Mitchell, where it's on display in his office. 11. Kiss from a Rose. The most expensive kiss ever given was back in 2003 when Joni Rum paid $50,000 to lip lock with Sharon Stone. And it was all for a good cause. Rum bought the kiss at auction in LA, and all proceeds went to Project Angel Foods, who provide aid for people living with HIV and AIDS. The kiss lasted almost 60 seconds, and it looked like both women enjoyed it. 10. Down to business. If you want to go into business in Tokyo, just bear in mind that you'll probably fork out around $1,200 per square meter to rent some space. London and Paris are not far off of this insane amount either. 9. Home Sweet Home. Welcome to Villa Leopolda, where for $506 million, you will spend the rest of your days in the lap of luxury. Although you'd probably be out of your mind with worry, thinking about all the bills to pay to maintain the place. Located on the French Riviera, this piece of paradise could be yours. 8. Play ball. We're back at baseball, and it seems there is a lot of money to be made if you're sitting on some vintage baseball cards. One rare Honus Wagner card fetched $1.1 million in 2000. The American tobacco company only issued 200 of these coveted cards because Wagner was totally against smoking. He disassociated himself with the company. Mind you, this isn't the highest amount fetched for a card. In 1909, 11 T206 Honus Wagner sold via Goldin Auctions $3.12 million. There was also a PSA 8 copy of the card that used to belong to hockey star Wayne Gretzky, which sold for $2.8 million. If you can afford to invest in something, looks like the baseball cards are the way to go. 7. Expensive tastes. There's no denying that things like gold, platinum, and even crème de la meuble are items that are out of reach cost-wise for most of us. Yet, there's something so much more expensive than those items. Antimatter costs a whopping $100 trillion per gram, making it the most expensive substance on Earth. This rare substance is only found at the edges of the atmosphere and within particle accelerators. The amount of energy a kilogram of antimatter can produce is staggering. If 1 kilogram of antimatter had to collide with 1 kilogram of matter, it could produce as much or even more energy than the Tsar Bomba, which was detonated in 1961. 6. Money makes the world go round. He's recently been announced as the wealthiest man in Asia, with a net worth of $44.3 billion. He's also the 18th wealthiest person in the world at the moment. He owns Antimatter in Mumbai, where Mukesh Ambani lives with his wife and 2 children, and some say a staff of 600. It cost him $2 billion. Antimatter was named after the mythical Atlantic island of Antilia. Most of the Indian nation despise the house, especially since so many of their nation goes hungry every day. 5. Spice it up. Something completely different to billion-dollar homes are spices, and one of the most expensive spices in the world is saffron, which costs $11 per gram. It's definitely not the kind of herb you're going to use with your everyday cooking. The process to get saffron is rather intense and time-consuming, as each flower it's taken from, the crocus sativa, has 3 tiny thread-like stigmas in the center, which have to be gently removed. Said to be an amazing aphrodisiac, despite the cost, it still sells really well. 4. Athlete's foot. If you were to buy a pair of OVO Air Jordan 10s on eBay, you'd probably pay around $600 for them. Drake did things a little differently. He unveiled a pair on Instagram which are worth around $2 million. For starters, they're made from solid gold, so the gold alone would have set him back $1.9 million. Then he had to pay artist Matthew Sinner to craft the sneakers. We're guessing it would have cost around $100K for that. The sneakers will never be worn for obvious reasons. 3. Let's do lunch. One of the richest men in the world is Warren Buffett, and every year there's an online auction done for charity where you can bid to have lunch with this incredible man. In 2010, an anonymous bidder pledged an incredible $2.6 million to dine with Buffett. Generally, the lunch date takes place at Smith & Wollensky Steakhouse in New York City, who are also known for doing their part for charities. Buffett has raised over $25 million with these lunch dates. 2. Have a heart. You may think this is an odd addition, but having surgery is now thought of as a luxury in many parts of the world. The most expensive surgery in the world is an intestinal transplant, which can cost as much as $1.206 million in total. Dead tissue is replaced with healthy tissue from a donor, then combined with the actual transplant. It can become very costly. 1. Cup of Joe. How much would you spend on a decent cup of coffee? I'm sure that $3,000 per kilogram never entered your mind. This coffee is made from the feces of the Asian palm civet. The feces is collected, processed, and made into this crazy expensive coffee. Kopi Luwak coffee doesn't exactly taste amazing either, with many saying that it's purchased for novelty more than taste. If money was no object, what is the first thing you would purchase? Let us know in the comments below. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Thanks for watching.